Bed of Chaos is the main boss of Lost Izalith, and you are required to defeat it if you want to finish the game. Additionally, it's not quite a normal boss fight in the sense that you don't really need to do much damage to it, your weapon doesn't really matter either, it's more of a puzzle than a traditional fight. So as you enter, you slide down this slope, and there are two glowing orbs on both sides of the arena. Your first goal is to destroy those, because only then can you defeat the actual boss. At this early stage of the fight, when both of the orbs are still intact, the boss doesn't really do much except for basic physical attacks. These can hit you from where you can't really see them, but generally they're easy enough to dodge, and you can also just tank them or block them. If you have a shield with high enough stability, these should not be causing you much trouble. And you can always heal off the damage, because the boss is not very fast, especially at this stage. Just make your way to the orb and destroy it. You don't have to do much damage, again these don't have real hit points, so you can just roll into them and that will be plenty to destroy. After the first orb is broken, things become a little more troublesome. The boss can now break the floor, and reaching the second orb is a lot more difficult, especially if you plan on going back without cheesing it. However, you don't actually have to go back to the center and then to the other orb, because the game saves that you've destroyed one orb, even if you quit out or die. So, you can either try to run back, and if you die, you just have to run back to the boss, or you can quit and reload, which will put you in front of the boss fog, but, crucially, the orb that you've destroyed previously will remain broken. If you are planning to do the quit and reload trick, and you are not against cheesing it in general, then it's probably easiest to break the right orb first. We'll see why in a moment. Otherwise, I think running back from the left orb is a little bit easier. So if you want to do it legit, then going for the left orb first might be easier. Again, your mileage of course may vary. When you're in this stage, getting to the right orb involves running around very close to this branch. Now the slams and the sweeps are a lot more dangerous at this point. They don't do any more damage. The problem is that the ground right next to you is broken and these things have a lot of knockback. So even if you block it, or if you roll through it and thereby avoid the damage, it can still move you around the arena, and very often you will die just from falling into these bottomless pits. However, once you have reached the orb, in this glowing area here, you're completely safe. Nothing the boss can do reaches you here. So you can again take your time, heal maybe, and break the second orb. Getting to the left orb the legit way is kind of similar. You run around along this branch and then you have to make a detour here because sticking close will take you into a bottomless pit once again. But there is a tiny little section here that you can run across and get to the orb as well. There is no need ever to jump across any of these chasms if you want to do this boss fight. You can do so in some places, but it's never necessary. However, if you are willing to cheese it, there is a much easier way to destroy the left orb. I don't think there's anything equivalent for the right orb. So as you enter the boss fight or made it back into the center, you just stick to the wall and run around. And this doesn't actually take you into melee range of the second orb, but you don't need to. You are completely safe from attacks in this section, and you just need to make it into this corner. Then you equip a bow. You don't need many arrows, again this thing doesn't actually have hit points. And you can destroy the branches, protecting the orb and the orb itself from this completely safe location. Nothing the boss can do at this point can reach you here. You can take as much time as you want. At this point both orbs are broken and the boss fight is in its final stage. You can again try to make it back to the center, but the boss now has one additional move which can make this a little more troublesome. There's a firestorm attack which basically creates a lot of pillars of fire on the ground, and these knock you into the air and do a lot of damage. And if you're running around, it will do counter damage, which for most builds will just one-shot you immediately. Again, after destroying the second orb, you can just quit out and reload, and you will be back in front of the fog gate and have a much easier time getting to the final area of this encounter. Now you need to get into the center. The most annoying thing the boss really does at this point is the double sweep. It doesn't matter how you got into the center, you now need to run towards the boss. However, the floor in front of it will break, and the only way to get to him is to jump off this little ledge here and land on this root or branch down below. It's a bit finicky and it's really annoying if you die at this stage, so try to line it up. The easiest way to do this is to run a little closer, triggering the boss to do his double sweep, and after the second sweep is just passed, you can run in and this will leave you enough time to get on the branch and basically into safety. Then you just roll through this tunnel. There's plenty of branches in the way that you need to destroy. You could attack them or just roll through them. In any case, you need to get past them. Be aware, the firestorm attack can still hit you here, and there's not really much you can do to avoid it. You can just try and stand still and tank it. If you have enough health and some fire resistance, that can work. But dying here is again a very annoying thing. However, if you do make it through, the actual boss is just this tiny little maggot which has basically no hit points. Now for this very annoying boss, once you have defeated it, you will receive 60,000 souls, a humanity, and the Lord Soul of the Bed of Chaos. And the only way to get out of this boss arena now is by warping out through this bonfire, or if you don't take the bonfire, you could just die. That would work as well, but obviously warping out is much easier. Alright, I hope this was somewhat helpful to you. If there are any questions left, feel free to ask. Have a nice day, and bye bye.